This morning's Leaving Certificate Higher Level English Paper 1 was designed to reward creative, imaginative thinkers. It was also importantly designed to reward those students who developed an in-depth knowledge of the different language genres over the course of their studies in the last 2 years. The composition section was really lovely. We all know how important it is now. It is worth 36% of the overall marks, and it was a lovely selection of questions. There were 2 personal essays, 2 short stories, a discursive essay, a feature article, and a speech. I particularly loved the speech. I loved the way students were asked to imagine that they were running for President of Ireland and required students to think about the type of society they would like to exist into the future. Lovely question, lovely selection of composition titles. The 3 reading comprehension passages, which featured writers Maeve McGrath, Ben Ockery and Hugo Hamilton, were all, again, well chosen and interesting. The style questions on these passages would have rewarded students with a knowledge of personal, narrative and persuasive writing, and I particularly liked the question 2 reading comprehension passages. Those questions invited students to think about things like the importance of youthful voices in public debate, the long-lasting impact of music on our lives, and censorship and cancel culture. These are exactly the type of topics that should be on a paper 1 for Leaving Certificate Higher Level English. They are questions which are framed to be relevant to young people sitting these exams, and they are questions which are framed to elicit responses which are original, fresh, thoughtful, informed, wonderful, a wonderful selection of questions. Finally, the question B tasks, and don't forget this year students only had to do a question A or a question B. The question B tasks invited students to write a podcast or to pretend they were an editor of a newspaper or to write an open letter on topics such as whether or not poetry should be a compulsory part of the Leaving Cert, and we all agree it should be, the importance of music in our lives and why it plays such an important role, and finally censorship and whether or not censorship is ever justifiable and in what situations it might be. It was a really lovely paper 1. It was a paper 1 that was thoughtfully put together. Hopefully, it will mean that all of those tens of thousands of students leaving examination halls this afternoon will leave with a smile on their face, feeling they were treated fairly and given really good opportunities. And hopefully exactly the same thing will happen tomorrow when they sit down and answer their literature paper, their paper 2.